All right, fourth graders, we are on Unit 4, Week 3, and our story of the week is Navajo Code Talkers. So you can get your word collector out and be ready to learn some new vocab words this week. Before we get started with our new words, there's a couple things that I want you to remember. Before we start, remember your word work expectations. So those things are to have your headphones in and your volume up so that you can hear. Pause and rewind the video whenever you need to, but remember not to fast forward. So if you need to go back and rewind to get the definition or pause it while you write things down, you should absolutely be doing that. And remember to write your own sentences in your vocab 4 square. So you're writing down the definition and the word, and then there's a box that says sentence, and that is a sentence that you are writing and creating on your own with that vocab word. That helps me know that you're understanding the definition and the meaning of that word. And lastly, work hard and be an active learner. Now that we've reviewed those things, let's take a look at our first word this week. The first word is impossible. A sentence using the word impossible is, it is impossible to fit a square peg into a round hole. So if you look at your new word collectors, there's a box right above your 4 square that asks you to think about what do you think this word means. So before you get the definition of impossible, I want you to first think about what does it mean? And write that down in your word collector. Impossible means not able to happen. So impossible means not able to happen. So I want you to think about these things. Are these things possible or impossible? So learning to spell 20 spelling words in a week. Is that possible or impossible? Hopefully you'd say that that is possible because we do that every week. So that's something that can be done. Or read an entire science textbook in 1 hour. I would think that would probably be impossible because that is a lot of reading and that would probably not be able to happen in 1 hour. And the last one, jump from the earth to the moon. And that one, hopefully you're thinking the same, is definitely impossible. We would not be able to do that. Our next word is messages. This bulletin board is covered in messages. So if you look at this board, there's a bunch of different papers on there with different news things or notices or announcements and messages. So before I let you know about the definition, I would like you to write what you think it means. So messages are words sent or delivered from one person or a group to another. So words sent or delivered from a person or a group to another. So I want you to think about what are some different ways you can send messages to someone. So I have a few pictures here of some different ways you can message people. The first one, you can obviously text message someone. You can write a handwritten message or note to someone. Or you could email someone, and there's just a lot of different ways you can send messages to people. Our next word is developed. Scientists have developed more complex technology over time. So scientists have developed more complex or difficult technology over time. So before you learn the definition, I'd like you to write down what you think developed means based on these picture clues and the clues from the sentence. So developed means to improve or advance. To improve or advance. So I want you to think about what is some new technology that has been developed in recent years. What is some new technology that has been developed in recent years? So one thing I think of right away is cell phones. Even though cell phones have been around for a long time, they have been developed or improved or advanced every year. There's new technology included in cell phones. So that would be something that has been developed over many, many years. Next word is headquarters. A building like this may house a company's headquarters. So based on these picture clues and based on the sentence, think about what does headquarters mean and write that down in your word collector. So headquarters can mean the main office of an organization. Okay, so we have a picture here of the Google headquarters and the McDonald's headquarters. So it's the main office of an organization. Okay, you can also think about like a police headquarters or like an army headquarters. That's where people would have their offices and would be getting work done. So it could be an organization like Google or McDonald's, or for a police station, or for an army station or army base. Our next word is exhausting. Running a long race can be exhausting. So this is hopefully or probably a familiar word. So think about what does exhausting mean. This picture probably gives you some really great clues. So exhausting means very tiring. Exhausting means very tiring. So if you look at these pictures, we have a cat and a dog and a person who look very tired. They look exhausted. And this is what, right here, this is what my corgi looks like when he is exhausted after he runs around outside. So what is an activity that would be exhausting for you? So maybe you think of physical activity like running or playing outside. Maybe gym class is exhausting for you, or playing at recess. Okay, or maybe there might be things that are mentally exhausting, like taking a test or doing some problem solving. Those things can make you mentally tired too. Our next word is advance. These advanced troops travel ahead of the main army and prepare the way. So these advanced troops travel ahead of the main army and prepare the way. So you can think about and write down what you think advance means based on these clues. So advance means in front of others or forward. In front of others or forward. So think about, what does it mean to do something in advance? Okay, so for example, I plan our whole week out in advance. So before we start a new school week on Monday, I already have our week planned in advance. I do it before or ahead of time. So what are some things you might need to do in advance? Okay, maybe you need to study your spelling words before or in advance before you take that spelling test on Friday. That would be an example. Our next word is intense. It takes intense concentration to play the trumpet. So if you look at this picture, this kiddo definitely has some intense concentration. You can tell by looking at his face to play the trumpet. So write down and think about what you think intense means. So something intense is very great, very strong, or extreme. Very great, strong, or extreme. So for example, a blizzard may include intense wind, cold, and snow. So wind, cold, and snow, that's very extreme and strong. So that would be considered intense. Our last word for this week is reveal. So a sentence using the word reveal is, the cloth is slowly pulled back to reveal the new truck. So if we look at this picture, they're pulling back this cloth to reveal the new truck underneath. So think about and write about, what do you think reveal means? So reveal means to make something known. To make something known. So some examples using the word reveal would be a chef might not want to reveal the secret ingredient that they use in something that they make. Okay, you might reveal a surprise to someone, to a friend or to a family member. So to reveal would be to make something known. So you might pull back the curtain or pull back a cloth and reveal something, maybe a painting or a project or an art project you had worked on. And that, kiddos, is our last word for this week. There's 8 total words. If you need to rewind or pause, go ahead and go back and do those things. And remember those word work expectations. Thanks for being active learners.